Have you ever woken up from a dream and someone's face just won't leave your mind? It's as if their presence was louder in your sleep than in your waking life. Family, a friend, maybe even someone you haven't seen in years. And you ask yourself, why? Why them? Why now? But what if I told you that moment wasn't random? What if I told you that your dream was a divine appointment? Because when someone appears in your dreams, God may not be reminding you of the person. He may be revealing something about your purpose, something about your heart, something about your next step. This isn't about superstition. This is about spiritual attention because God doesn't waste dreams. And tonight, I want to show you what He might be saying when He places someone in the sacred space of your sleep. Dreams are often God's way of initiating heart checks, healing, or intercession. When we sleep, our minds may be at rest, but our spirits remain open to divine whispers, impressions, and revelations. God doesn't require us to be fully conscious to speak. In fact, some of His most profound communication happens when we're least distracted. It is in that stillness, that sacred silence of sleep, that God begins to uncover the parts of us we've hidden, ignored, or even forgotten. A dream, especially one that involves another person, is not always about the surface of that relationship. It's often about what God is doing within you. Many times, we think dreams are simply the brain's way of processing memory or emotion. And yes, science tells us dreams help us sort through the clutter of the day. But there's a difference between natural processing and spiritual prompting. When God gives you a dream with a specific person in it, particularly someone unexpected, someone you haven't thought about in a long time, or someone who brings up old emotions that's not random, that's often an invitation to go deeper, to pause and say, God, what are you showing me here? Because He may not be pointing to that person's role in your life right now, but He could be showing you a reflection of your heart's condition. Think about it. Sometimes a person will appear in your dream who once hurt you, and in the dream you feel emotions rise: anger, sadness, regret. That's a divine clue. God is not reopening wounds to harm you. He's revealing them to heal you. That's His nature. He is the God who restores, who brings light into dark corners of the soul. And when you dream about someone from your past, especially when it brings unresolved feelings to the surface, it might be because God is saying, you're still carrying this. Let's deal with it together. It's a heart check, a chance to evaluate what you've buried beneath busyness, routine, or even ministry. Other times, the person in your dream might be someone you love, but in the dream, something is wrong. Maybe they're in danger, or they're struggling, and you wake up feeling unsettled. That could be a nudge toward intercession. The Spirit may be calling you to stand in the gap for them, to pray on their behalf, because something is happening in the spiritual realm you don't yet see in the physical. Dreams like that are not meant to alarm you. They're meant to activate you. God is saying, I trust you to pray. I trust you to care. I trust you to fight for them in the Spirit. And sometimes dreams come not to reveal pain, but to reveal progress. You might dream of someone you once hated, but in the dream, you're hugging them, forgiving them, releasing them. That's not just a sweet scene, that's healing in motion. That's evidence of God at work in your heart, even when you're not aware of it. The dream becomes a mirror, reflecting a transformation that heaven celebrates long before you fully realize it. Let's go deeper. Think about Joseph in the Bible. God gave him dreams that didn't just predict the future, they stirred something inside of him. They exposed the favor on his life, yes, but also the pride in his spirit. They were the beginning of a process, not the end of a story. The same is true for us. When God gives us dreams that involve other people, they might mark the beginning of a healing journey, a lesson in humility, or a calling to cover someone in prayer. The human heart is layered. It stores joy and pain, love and fear, faith and doubt. We may think we've moved on from someone, but a dream can reveal otherwise. We may assume we've forgiven until a dream brings back emotions that feel just as raw. That's not failure, it's feedback. God is showing us the truth, not to shame us, but to guide us, because His goal is always wholeness, not just outward obedience, but inward freedom. He wants us to be light, unburdened by bitterness, fear, or shame. And He knows that sometimes the quickest way to show us what's really in our hearts is through a dream. This is why we can't ignore our dreams, especially the ones that stay with us. You know those dreams, the ones that linger long after you wake up, the ones that feel too vivid to be random? That is often the Holy Spirit calling your attention to something. It might not make sense right away, and that's okay. The goal is not always immediate clarity. Sometimes it's about cultivating sensitivity, being open to ask, Lord, is this dream from you? If it is, what are you trying to reveal in me? What are you asking me to surrender? Dreams can also uncover patterns. You might notice that the same person shows up in your dreams again and again. Sometimes it's a symbol, maybe they represent a type of emotion or a season in your life. Or maybe there's unfinished spiritual business. Either way, when repetition shows up in dreams, it's worth praying about, because God often speaks in patterns. He repeats not to confuse, but to confirm. He may be showing you an area that needs your attention, not because He wants to expose your weakness, but because He wants to strengthen your spirit. Intercession is another key purpose. There are times when God puts someone in your dreams simply because they need prayer, and you're the one He trusts to pray. He chooses you to stand in the spiritual realm on their behalf. You may not know what's going on in their life, but God does. And your willingness to lift them up in prayer, even if it's just for a moment, can change things in the heavenly realm. Prayer is not confined to the conscious mind. When God stirs you in the night, He's inviting you into partnership with heaven. Healing also takes place in dreams. Some people experience emotional breakthroughs through dreams encounters where they see themselves forgiving someone or receiving forgiveness. These dreams can feel real because they carry real spiritual weight. You may not have the opportunity to reconcile with that person in real life, but God allows you to experience release in the spirit. That release is sacred. It's not imaginary. It's redemptive. It's the kind of healing only the Spirit of God can orchestrate. The presence of someone in your dream can signify a spiritual assignment, not just emotional memory. While many people often dismiss dreams as nothing more than reflections of their daily thoughts or unresolved emotions, they can hold much deeper spiritual significance. In fact, some dreams, particularly those that involve other people, are not just about the relationships you have with those individuals, but they can point to divine assignments that God has for you, assignments that involve not just those people, but the growth of your own spirit. When someone appears in your dream, it is important to ask yourself, what role does this person play in the bigger picture? And what might God be trying to show you or call you to through this encounter? Sometimes we encounter people in our dreams that we have known for years, whether they are family, friends, or acquaintances. Yet, when they appear in a dream, it doesn't always feel like a simple interaction. The way they show up can feel charged with meaning or urgency, making us think that their appearance is pointing to something more than just a recollection of past experiences. These types of dreams are not limited to the realm of memory. They are often invitations to something greater. God can use dreams to align us with His divine will, revealing assignments that we may not have expected or even thought of. Dreams with other people are often a reflection of a spiritual assignment that may not yet be clear in our waking lives. God has a way of orchestrating events in the unseen realm, And sometimes he chooses dreams as the vessel through which he communicates his plans for us. These dreams can serve as a way for God to bring us into alignment with a particular purpose or mission. The individuals who appear in these dreams may not even play an obvious role in your current life, but their presence is often a signal that God is preparing you for something significant. For example, you might dream of an old friend or a family member who is no longer part of your everyday life, but the dream isn't just about nostalgia. In the dream, there may be an interaction that feels spiritually charged, or you may find yourself praying for that person. The dream might feel out of place, but what God is doing could be calling you to pray for them, support them, or even reconnect with them in a way that fulfills a deeper purpose. This is not just a memory from the past, it's a spiritual assignment that calls you to step into something that God is orchestrating. Similarly, if you dream of someone who has hurt you or who you have unresolved issues with, that dream may not just be about revisiting old wounds or emotions. Instead, it may be a call to intercession. It may be that God is placing that person in your heart and spirit in order for you to pray for their healing, their salvation, or their deliverance. Intercession isn't just about praying for those who are close to us. It can extend to people we have